are you putting me in these 1-3s? Why are you doing this to me? I like it though. Why you make me do this? Why you make me do this?
Sumatchi in the house.
Yeah.
Hello.
What up, Sumatchi? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty alright. It's what are we at? Wednesday? Wednesday, yeah, halfway. Almost through the week, so doing pretty good.
You survived,
Happy to
right?
be-
We're happy for you to be here. Yeah, yeah.
All right, Tether, I'll let you
VR
take
chat
it away.
delays.
Yeah, you're all
Right.
good.
No
You're all
worries.
good. It's the hardest
cool,
thing
yeah,
is-
we're excited.
I spent a lot of time in VR chat doing karaoke stuff, and man, the VR chat like sound delay, trying to get that working with karaoke is super annoying. But
Yeah,
it's just
that's a
one of
little
those
weird.
things.
No
I
doubt.
imagine.
Hey, what is up, Red Eye Jedi? What is up, Pink Ponage? In our stream. Give him a little applause for that. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Let's go.
Tether, I will turn it over to you while I do all the fancy camera work.
How did you get involved with Big Box and Pop One?
Yeah, so with Pop 1, it was actually kind of funny. So about a week before the game came out, and I showed this, I think, in my like first year anniversary video. But like a week before the game came out, one of my other teammates just messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, game called Population 1's coming out. Have you heard of it?" I'm like, I haven't heard of it." He's like, "Oh, it looks like okay, Battle Royale." I'm like, I guess we could try it. It looks okay. And week later, game comes out, and just kind of played it almost every day for a few months after that, and got hooked on it. Didn't play the beta, didn't play anything beforehand. It was just like a week before the game came out. My buddy was just, "Hey, you want to try this out?" And we got to do that. I don't have any involvement with Big Box other than just like every once in a while I'll chat with the devs. I'm sure just like everybody does, or like they'll send a message in the Discord channel or something and just ask questions. But yeah, I don't have any like personal.
Were you playing any VR or esports prior to Population One?
Yeah, so
I don't think there was a
person
lot,
that-
but
There wasn't a lot. So before Population 1, there was, I don't think there was Contractor, but there was Onward and there was Pavlov and there was Echo Arena in terms of VR, the VR space. And I tried Echo a lot. Really wish Echo worked on like Index and Steam VR headsets, but it was, Oculus exclusive. So as soon as I got my Index, the only way to do it was with Revive. So I didn't get too into that, but I did get very into Pavlov. And
Yeah, that was awesome.
so I
game.
had the team. Yeah, really like Pavlov. The competitive scene for Pavlov's still going. I have a couple members on my team who still play. For a couple of the Team Knit Bunch, good friends. I think that's one of the biggest important things to do if you get into a competitive team is make sure you all get along outside. I guess it depends how seriously you want to take it.
Right.
I always see teams like start up and then they like, team starts up, they like might compete, place top 10 and whatnot, but then like a year later, I might not even hear about them anymore. So I'm sure that gets annoying for leagues and whatnot, having to all these different teams that start up and shut down and everything.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, did I lose you guys?
Mm.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. What did you
so
think?
your team, you talk about Vortex. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's
You're
Zork's
fine.
question. Yeah.
No, you're fine. I'll just interject
Oh,
at
yeah.
any time.
So okay, yeah. So Vortex, that's the team. What is Vortex? Like, when did that start? Yeah,
Yeah,
tell us
so
a little
like
bit more about.
2018, about 2018 is we were actually a sister team of a Pavlov team that was so there's this main Arctic Discord server. It was Arctic, and they hosted all sorts of different teams that were all like snow or penguin based, and it was like Black Ice, you know, just all of these different teams, and our team name just ended up being Vortex. And originally, I was supposed to be on one team, to be fair, but I was trying to play with one of my buddies, and it just started as a sister team for Arctic, and then it kind of branched out for about, gosh, like 5 years now
Oh wow.
for those people. And the people that I played with for, I say those, those friends or those teammates, but a lot of the people that I play Pavlov with and Vale with aren't the same people that I play Pop 1 with. So like my Pop 1 team for like the invitational people that I play with, like Bruh, Jurt, Toyko, like those people, Abby, they were all people that I met in the Pop 1 community that really grinded out Pop 1. But my normal like roster of teammates is more like my Pavlov and my Vale roster than anything, which is a little bit different. I don't know if too many of you guys will know too many of their names, so but they're all really, really chill people.
Yeah, I was playing Pavlov
Probably
when it
not.
was still on. I think it was kind of on side quest still. Yeah, I think it was on
Yep.
side quest too before it even became public. But that was probably, I thought, a lot better than. I mean, they're kind of different games, but Onward. So my question to you was,
Known and like getting sponsors and all this stuff. But on top of not having to worry about that stuff, it's very, well, we want it to be as welcoming as possible. It's just very, I'm trying to think of the word for it or like the phrase to explain it. It's,
more accessible.
Everybody's bad.
Right.
Everybody's bad. Like if you try to get into like a like that's the nicest way I can put it. But like people are like, oh, I'm so good. Like everybody has got a really big ego in VR. It makes sense. Everybody who competes, like competition, kind of breeds people's egos.
Right.
But there is a very, very large skill difference between someone who has like just picked up a headset and has never large skill difference between someone who has like just picked up a headset and has never played it and someone who has like 1,000 hours in Pop 1. Like
Right.
it's a crazy amount. Like if you go try to play a flat screen game, like a brand new flat screen game, say like Fortnite 2 comes out or Apex, like a new game comes out, right? Anybody that starts playing that game will have all of the experience of every single shooter they've played beforehand to help
That's
them out.
true.
Like they
That's
have the
true.
mechanics, mouse and
Right,
keyboard,
right.
but VR is like there isn't anything beforehand. Like this is like people growing with it from the very start.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
it's much more accessible, like you were saying.
That's a really good point. Yeah, so speaking of, since we have people watching, Natasha VR, you probably know Sumatchi, Natasha. She says, we love
Natasha.
Sumi. We love Sumi.
Thanks, Natasha.
Red Eye Jedi, thank
YouTube
you.
was having some.
Yeah, YouTube
Go
was
ahead.
having some issues, so I told him to
Jump to Twitch might be better.
Oh,
I guess the
okay.
audio in YouTube's a little choppy.
Oh, is it? Okay, all right. Sorry about
So-
that.
Yeah.
It might be a bit
Oh
of
no,
a
I
problem
don't think
too.
it's your fault. Yep.
Well, you know,
Technology.
ever since Pink Ponage told me, "Hey, what's up? What's up, Harbinger?" Ever since Pink Ponage said, "Hey, tweak your Quest 2 to the 120 refresh rate," it's been great for.
Out stuff, yeah,
Yeah.
that could help.
So I wanted to
It's the hardest
ask.
thing of VR in general. Is just
Yeah.
hardware stuff.
So
yeah.
you've kind of played, going off of what Tethered was talking about, you've played since the beginning of Pop 1. How, like, we all know the updates and everything else, and it's kind of it's a little bit different now, but what do you think about it compared to when you started until now? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's just too different. And I know that's kind of getting in the weeds, but...
I think that's it's an interesting. It's the equivalent of comparing this to like vanilla World of Warcraft. I'm not sure how many people like play vanilla World of Warcraft. There's a lot of people that I meet that play pop more than 20 years, like 25 years at this point.
Yeah.
And there's a certain kind of, I guess, ladder of like the progression of how things go, which is like people like get into a game, like the game, figure out the meta, and like grow as before. And part of the reason of that is competitive, in my opinion. Like when a game comes out and nobody knows what they're doing, it feels more fair.
Yeah.
So people will have like nostalgia of, I like World of Warcraft when, it was just a roaming game and I didn't have to go to this one spot to, I like learning new stuff. And I can understand from like a new player perspective, if you only play the game like 3 hours a week and they change the game every week, then you can't keep up, right?
Right,
The game's
right,
just
right.
too hard. So
Yep.
I get it.
Right. Yeah.
But like me personally, I like when stuff changes, like every so often.
Yep.
I like when things get updated, when guns get balanced, when all that stuff happens, when the meta feels a little bit more fresh. Recently, I feel like the meta hasn't, and I use the word meta if there's anybody that doesn't know what that means, but it just means the like most powerful stuff to use at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the meta guns have kind of been like AK, OP, DT. I guess the MP9's kind of worked its way in there, and then FAL. And it gets hard in like a competitive scene when stuff doesn't change because it stops being like about innovation and it starts being about like who can perfect doing that one thing. So I like when things change a lot. That's just my personal preference. I would like the current stuff if it just got changed every so often. I just want stuff to update. Give us the new map already. New map's supposed to happen, right? Give us a new map.
Yeah.
Give us something.
Right. I agree.
Well, I think that's going to change up the game quite a bit. The new map, I know there's a lot of. I know I'm hyped to test it. Whenever it's available to do it about it, because I know it starts
I like
tomorrow.
The core thing.
Series 2.
Okay. So immediately, and the fact that I couldn't get it immediately, that bothered me. I had to wait until next month, which is tomorrow. I can officially get it tomorrow.
Right.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
So excited about that. The big box devs, I think at the beginning of last year, right before the free-to-play update, are like, we're going to be more, we're going to talk more with the community. It doesn't feel like that really happened too much, so, it would be cool if we got
no
just
doubt.
something.
If I could,
something.
can I throw out some stuff here from the chat? Harbinger, thank you so much. Harbinger's gifting out subs. Thank you, Harbinger.
Thanks, Harbinger.
All right, Natasha said we need Legions full-time, but TT is stupid. Legions in War should be a permanent rotational list. Harbinger said. Natasha said, let's turn classics into squads and rotation war and Legions full-time. And then Harbinger had something interesting to say. And I don't mean to run through these like it's a laundry list, but bring players together and have more user interaction. Large-scale PvP is fun on desktop games, but it's special in VR when you fight side by side immersed. I really like that. That's a very awesome, good point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the new map will bring. In terms of some of the things they've mentioned, and I know I've ranted on some of these subjects a million different times, but VR, I guess I said it at the start of this, VR is new, and people are getting into it, and competitive VR is just starting. But like on that,
Right.
the best statistics of keeping people around.
Right.
But like talking to a lot of them, like I is the most. So if something needs to rotate out in the meantime, just because like the player base needs the way that I view the game rotation is the amount of players that are online at any given time can get into a match in under 30 seconds if there's only like 2 modes. And when you start to add like another mode, you push that timer farther, right? The matchmaking gets worse and the timer gets longer.
That's a good point.
When you already are, like, people are already strapping a microwave on their face to even be able to play. Like, it's a big ask to be like, hey, keep that microwave on for another, 30, like an extra 30 seconds before you're able to play, right?
Right. So, yeah, no doubt.
The original Quest was really hard to play.
Oh, yeah.
Because just 1 hour, and you're like, oh, it's so front heavy.
Yeah. That's a good point. Very good point.
playing the Quest 2 without like a Bobo VR strap or something, like playing it with the default head strap is horrible. Unless you're wearing a hat. Like,
Peripheries are always so much better, or at least they seem to be.
yeah. That's how they make money, I guess. Sell a super cheap headset, and you're gonna end up like $300 headsets new. Well, yeah, but then you're gonna have to get a head strap and
Seen. I've been seen.
Yeah, I can't even turn right on my controller anymore.
Right,
I have to physically move right now.
Oh yeah.
So what?
I have to worry
what
about
do
my
you play
cable.
on?
That's
Do you
my
play-
most frustrating.
Yeah, you play on an Index. Is that?
Yeah, so when I started playing Pavlov, I started on the Rift, the CV1, and then I upgraded to a Rift S, which I thought was a kind of cool design and cool headset, because you didn't need trackers, so that's nice.
Well, the Halo
but
strap was pretty nice too.
I ran into an issue because I liked sniping. My team, on my team, I was the 50 cal user, and with the 50 cal with the Rift S, when I was holding it as close as I do, the Rift S cameras couldn't pick up the other controller. This was like right when it came out, so the tracking, now on top of being pretty shaky, was like they could a really nice upgrade. I'm just tired of my Index controllers breaking. That's the number one thing. I've gone through like 20 or more controllers.
I do not envy you there, my friends. Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. That doesn't sound like a cheap road to go down.
They do at least try to like help you out for the first year. Like you have warranty for the first year, so you don't have to buy a new set for the entire first year. But it's frustrating when you're waiting for a replacement or whatever. You have a comp match in 2 days, but they can't get you a new controller for however long. It gets annoying.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just checking our comments real quick. Tether, do you have another question, or I have one popping in my head right now?
Oh, did you have one? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So how did you make the jump from just playing leisurely doing comp to all of a sudden you're basically you're on an esports team? Like, for those that don't know your story and those that may want to go down a similar path, although things are always in flux in this venue, how did that happen and how did you get there?
Yeah, I guess I could go back a couple of questions too, because you also asked how my comp experience started outside of VR, and I guess I never really approached that, and these kind of tie into each other. When I was a kid, I played a lot of games. I was limited to only efficient as possible when I played. So when you start getting into efficiency, you start looking into how do I beat this part the fastest, and then you find out that people speed run the game, and then you're like, oh, speed runs, what's that? And that's like, oh, when people want to be the fastest, like compete. So like look into that stuff. And I remember competing, like Nintendo Power, this old magazine called Nintendo Power that held some little like, I don't know, speed run tournaments. And there's Mario Sunshine. I got like a T-shirt because I got like second place in the tournament.
Oh,
I had to like mail in my time on a
cool.
CD drive, and I got this cool Nintendo Power shirt. It was great. And then even around then, like I was super heavy into sports. So all throughout middle school, high school, I was just very much into competing. I played on the best soccer team in Colorado, the best club team in Colorado, like outside of school. So on top of my school competing, my dad would drive me like an hour to like compete on this other team. And it just like come to, originally my parents never wanted me to play a game that you shot other people. They only wanted me to like shoot aliens and stuff. But eventually they let me play Halo because in Halo you're shooting aliens. Yeah. And then I started playing multiplayer at Halo on Xbox Live, and that's kind of where I started. Found out that people competed in that, and I had actually been asked to play competitively for Halo 2, and it was kind of funny. It was like 14 or 15 at the time, and my parents were like, don't waste your life on video games. Like, don't do it. So I wasn't actually allowed to play. Like there was tournaments that happened like locally in my town. I had a really small town. There's only like, I don't know, like 3,000 to 5,000 people in my town.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But there were some small tournaments, like Halo 1 tournaments. I remember I rented Halo 1 the day before the tournament. I had never played Halo 1. And then the next day I ended up winning the tournament for Halo 1.
Oh, wow.
And then like I went to college, my first year of college, they had like a random Assassin's Creed tournament. It's like, how do you even compete in that? And you just had to like do an assassination and then hide. And it was just whoever could do it won. And then I won, like I got like second place doing that. And I just like kept looking for competing. I played League of Legends a lot. I spent like way too much time playing League of Legends. I don't want to look up how much money I spent on that game total. But League of Legends, I competed a lot, and I actually had a team of like local friends that I played with, and there was something called well, they would do a lock-in. The way it would work is you'd arrive at this gaming place. It was just like computers in like rows, and you'd get there, and it would be, I don't know, maybe like 50 people on PCs, and you get there at like 9 p.m., and then at 11 p.m. they lock the door, and then they unlock it like at 8 a.m. again. And it's just like my friend would hold his birthday parties there. You just go there for a night and you just play games for like 15 hours. And it was great. When I was only allowed to play like 1 hour at the time, man, that was great. Man, 2010, 2011, I would go into LANs for Counter-Strikes because they had like the Colorado LAN Fest and all that stuff going on.
Nice.
So I'd go there and I won like a medal for like my team got like second in one of the Counter-Strike tournaments. They're just always competing in all of these different things. So of course when I get VR and I'm like, oh, like, does competition exist for this? Oh, look, it does. And I played Pavlov, and that's how all that started. In terms of Pop 1, it was kind of the same thing. It started playing Pop, and I didn't play the beta, but I had a really big advantage on everybody that started playing, specifically because I played a lot of Pavlov. So because I already had like the shooting experience from Pavlov, and then I just had my general game mechanics from all of the other games that I had played, it transferred really well. And naturally, people are attracted to what they're good at. So, I just kept playing Pop 1.
Sure.
Competed in a couple of the first tournaments. I remember this was back before you could do custom lobbies. So it was like, you try to like join at the same time.
Yeah,
and, like,
that was a
get on
pain in
different
the
teams.
ass.
And then you'd see who won and like also in one of the tournaments. I remember he was upset though, because he won and he's in Europe. So even though he won like a cool headset stand, like he had to like try to figure out some way to get it shipped to him because overseas.
Oh, no. Wow.
There's all sorts of stuff. In this,
Wow. How did you go from that to being on this kick-ass esports team? And then, of course, you guys won that invitational. I guess that's the right word to describe that. So how was it like, oh, yeah, let's do the esports team. And then, hey, let's have our own esports team. Like, how did all that happen?
Yeah. So, I mean,
and then I'll quit it. I'll quit interrupting you, Tether, and let you ask some questions. Sorry about that.
No, these are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Pop 1, I got into Pop 1 and I met Jert pretty fast. I met Coffee Bacon. I played a lot with your friend Mud. I played a lot with just a bunch of different people. There was a bunch of people that I loved playing with in the game. And Ghost, one of my old teammates, he passed away about 1.5 years ago now.
Oh,
But
man.
he was someone that I
sorry to
played a
hear
lot
that.
with. So if I played a game like Pavlov, I could have 4 friends. But Pop 1, I can only have 2 friends. It's
Right.
fine. It's fine. But with, I guess with Pavlov, like playing every day. So at that point, it's like, well, sure, like go for it. And I ended up, I think I asked Mud and Jert to play on my team as the main roster. And Mud said he didn't want to play. So I asked, this is actually kind of funny, but I asked Stumpy Nub because I believe that Stumpy Nub was the best player in the world before the Invitational.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him to play on my team, and he like straight up said, yeah. Like I sent him a message. It was the equivalent of like, we should like form a team because we're just going to destroy everybody if we make a team. And he straight up sends me a message that's the equivalent of like, I'd love to do that. And yeah, we'd probably wipe the floor with everybody, but that would make it way less exciting. And I think it needs to be like a closer match. So I'm going to go make my own team.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
Oh no.
it
kind
was,
of applause
it was
to him
actually
for that.
really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
like shout outs to Stumping Up for doing that because like it made it a lot more interesting. It wasn't as like assured what was going to happen. It wasn't just
Yeah.
like, the 3 people that are going to destroy everybody. It was like, okay, well, they're splitting up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that made it pretty exciting for the Invitational for that. And I've competed in a lot of different VR games as well. So Pop 1 had its Invitational, which the whole situation of how they had it set up and how that whole thing went is a whole situation that everybody's heard about 100 times.
Right,
But
right,
I wish
right,
they do
right.
something like that again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wish they do something like that again, but I don't think they will. It would be cool if they would. But
Yeah, no doubt.
it's really hard to do competitive in any game for the strict reason of like as soon as there's a prize or money involved or anything, people start getting very payout. So it's a good time playing. We'll try to compete and hang out. We kind of just all want to hang out with each other, and if we can hang out and compete at the same time, then heck yeah.
That's very cool. It's definitely a
Are there
social
any-
thing.
Yeah.
Are there any other VR games on the horizon that you guys are gonna compete in? I saw somebody mention was it Showdown from Contractors? Might be
Yeah,
whenever that
I've-
releases. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes. So Contractor Showdown's in closed beta right now. So during the weekends, they open it up for people to be able to play. I can't stream it, but I can post videos for it because I'm in the creator program. So every once in a while, you guys
Nice.
might see a TikTok or a video. I might try to do like an overview of the game for anybody interested in that. I actually had one of my teammates this past weekend because we have so many of our players who are interested in playing it that are like, so how many like Vortex teams are we going to have for Showdown? Because all of them just like really enjoy it. So Contractor Showdown's
Yeah.
one that very excited to play in the coming months. I'm excited
Yeah.
for that. I'm also excited because like people will say, is it better than Pop 1? Is it worse than Pop 1? But I feel like it's the equivalent of comparing like Fortnite and Warzone, or Fortnite and Call of Duty, where it's like it attracts different types of people, and the more people overall that you can bring into VR, the better. So if it attracts like a whole other group, and some of those people trickle into Pop 1, and some of those people trickle, like whatever, there'll be a give and take, but Contractor Showdown has 45 player lobbies.
Wow,
So
okay.
there's always like the
wow.
worry of, are you always going to be able to fill the lobbies? Because I mean, every once in a while, I'm sure we've all experienced Pop 1 lobbies not quite filling up sometimes.
Right, right, right.
So
yeah.
there's always like a little worry about that. So the game needs to have enough replayability to keep people playing it and give them a reason to, again, strap the microwave to their face. Contractor Showdown.
Absolutely.
Veil comes out on the Quest store on the 15th. Anybody interested in competing with Veil, they just started their VRML season, which I believe has a prize pool of 10 grand. So
Oh.
anybody that is
Oh,
interested
let's get some
in
applause
Veil,
for that.
I think X8 will have a $10,000 prize pool as well, which is a game similar to Valorant. Breachers is a good game. I personally like Breachers a lot. It's a little bit slower, so a lot of people that transfer from Pop to Breachers, like this is way too slow of a game, or they don't have fun playing it.
Right,
But it is a
right.
different style. So trying to think of anything else that's coming out. I think the main ones for competitive VR are going to be Contractor Showdown and Pop One's new map. Give me the new map. I want to
Yeah,
see what
yeah,
that
yeah.
does and
Yeah, that deserves some applause.
what happens.
We
there.
are ready. We are ready. We are ready.
Please. Now the
Oh.
question is, if the map is bigger, will they increase the player count? Because I feel like if they make the map
Sure.
too much bigger, they need to, right? And they have teased, even like I remember the blog post that they made right before free to play again when they said they were going to talk to the community more. But in that blog post, they teased like more players in the lobby. So like they've been thinking about it, and I think if the map
Yeah.
gets bigger, then hopefully the player size increases as well.
Yeah, and I
hope
mean,
so.
I think that's
I mean,
a really
initially,
good
once
point.
it's released, I'm sure it'll have a big push of people coming back to Population 1 once it's open, I think, to everybody else.
Yeah, no
Mm,
doubt.
Kind of like how when Classic Map came back, right? There was a big initial wave of players that came back to the game just to check that
I think
out.
that exactly is why they don't focus on the veteran players as much, because we complain, or at least I'll say we, and speak a little bit for veteran players.
I'm like stuck in here.
Trapped.
Here, let me just get out of your way. Oh yeah, it's like not letting me even move. Yeah, it will. It will. Here, let me
Yeah, you're still.
let me move to that's so weird.
Harvard.
No, you're controlling your camera right now, right? So
Yeah.
you need to turn off your what is it called? What's that called?
Hold on.
Turn off
What?
the flying. Turn off the flying. Turn off flying is what you need to do.
Oh, I don't even know that I have that on. That's so weird.
It's not on. You
Well, that's how you remove the.
I wonder if I can just move out of your way.
Not. No, I meant flying in the flying on the camera, not on your avatar.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, but that's so bizarre. Now I'm so sorry,
Right.
guys. This usually doesn't happen. Okay, now I can move. There we go.
I have
Sorry
that effect
about
on
that.
people.
Yeah, you do. Sorry about that, guys. All right, there we go. Now it's back on Sumatchi. Now we can return to things as normal.
Business as usual.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right. That was exciting.
That was exciting and crazy. Yeah, so I'll just get myself
So we're
situated.
talking about
I'll get myself
so we're
situated.
talking
here.
about classics, right? And
Right.
veteran players.
So,
Yeah.
veteran players, I feel like you will, if you see that the game's getting updated, you're like, oh, I'll come back and I'll try it again, right? So people talk a lot about, oh, Pop 1 used to be good, and I hope they have an update too. But Big Box knows that, and that's why they will almost always cater more to new players, because it's so important to try to grow the player base overall. They know the veteran players will come back, right? You release a new map, veteran players are going to come back and want to play the new map. The most important thing is growing the general player base, and then as a whole VR will succeed more. You'll be able to host tournaments, you'll have more players in your game, the lobby times will be faster, matchmaking will be better because there's more people playing, right? It fixes a lot of issues in the long term. In the short term, people are going to be like, they hate us, they're not doing anything for us and whatnot. But I feel like because they're making decisions that are much more focused on a long-term game survival, that's what reassures me that they do care about the game, and they want it to move forward, right? It doesn't seem like there's gonna be a Pop 2. It's Pop 1, and they didn't come out with a second game for Quest 2 only. They took the first game and they evolved it and they phased out Quest 1, right? So I feel like they really want to make sure that this game is the one that survives, and they put all of their work into. So
Yeah.
I feel like they know a lot of what they're doing, and they have all statistics, all the stuff that we don't get to see on our end, on the front end, but all the stuff on the back end that they get to see and follow those statistics for what they think they should do and all of that. So I'm excited for new stuff. Classic map, in my opinion, it's probably a lot easier to understand. There's a lot less going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of open fields that people are walking across that they're easier to see. It's a lot less vertical, right? It's just easier to understand. So I feel like the focus of that was to help the new people. So I'm never opposed to that. So
We have a couple of questions real quick if I can get to them in the chat real quick. Let's see. Worrisome. One of our squad.
I just streamed some League of Legends games. I'd streamed some Counter-Strike games. My computer wasn't really very powerful. Streaming takes a lot of resources to be able to do properly. It takes even more if you're trying to do it in VR. And the amount of programs that I'm running in the back end to try to get my VR stream working, it's a miracle when I go through a stream without something breaking. Because I have 2 different programs to help me with my avatar. I have 1 program to help with all sorts of redeems. Steam VR is running. I have to show the display for my Steam VR to show both the eyes. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but for my I work on very, very high quality stream. I want to make it look as good as possible.
Yeah.
So with my stream, rather than just having the one eye that's followed, it follows both of my eyes, and there's a little blurry line that's really hard to see. But it actually I have a wider field of view on my stream than most people because I have that advantage. But again, all of this stuff taxes my computer. It's so taxing, and I've tried to make some tutorials on if people want to set this up, how they the steps they go through, and if you want to stream in VR, I have a tutorial on my YouTube of how I set up all my stuff. So what drew me
I
towards
followed your
VR?
VC, the VC tutorial did, because I used to play as Vermosity, and I had an avatar that would also be on screen, not as cool as yours, but yeah, I followed your tutorial to do that. So
Yeah.
Sorry to interject.
I actually just swapped to a different program than that one. Like everything's constantly changing, and then on top of the hardware, and then the controller is stick drift, everything. It's really hard to get everything running. But I wanted to. I guess I kind of got thrown on the spotlight, and I've kind of tried to do my best. Because what ended up happening was I streamed on and off for a long time. I actually got decently big playing a gun. Sometimes if there was an event going on, more than that. But that game that had the most viewers was at like, I don't know, like 200, which is ridiculously low. Because like day one you get like 40,000, and then 200 a week later. Like it was so bad. And they actually decided, Paragon's been out for a long time, and Paragon was the game that I played. Has been out for a long time, and it hasn't really like boosted anything massively. We're going to pull all funding out of Paragon and put it into a Battle Royale mode. And that's how Fortnite Battle Royale became what it is. But also the game that was growing my content creation and my stream just got nuked. So everybody stopped watching, everybody stopped playing, and it was horrible.
Oh,
Played
yeah,
a
that's
different
terrible.
game where the same thing happened, where it got tanked. It was called Death Garden, which was a it's kind of like Dead by Daylight, but the killer that is like searching for people has a gun. It was pretty cool. But again, same sort of thing where just like it was out for a while, wasn't enough interest, died. And I feel like every VR game kind of goes this same route, right? They come out, they are one thing. Pop 1 came out and it's a Battle Royale, right? And they're like, cool. Player base for Battle Royale is whatever it is. For flat screen, it's really easy because there are so many people that play flat screen games that you can be a flat screen Battle Royale and that's all you have to do. That's fine.
Right.
But with VR games, because the player base is so much smaller, like a game can't sustain itself. So like Pop 1 added Sandbox, right? Veil added a Capture the Flag mode, and they're adding some different modes in the future. They had joked about having an infection mode. Contractors Showdown start branching out. Pavlov, ridiculous amount of mods. So all these games start as one thing and end up branching out a ton. That was kind of on a different rant track every so often, and got into Pavlov. I would stream my competitive matches for Pavlov, and never a huge amount of viewers for VR or anything. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. But it was May 3 years ago. So Pop 1 had been out for, it was actually April, so it was before the Invitational.
Yeah.
Pop 1 had been out for, I don't know, October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months, half a year. And I was...
Wow. I lost you guys again.
ultrasound equipment, I would manufacture them, I would do all sorts of different stuff for that company.
Oh, that's
Are you
very
dying?
cool.
Oh, wow.
You going to survive? Okay.
Yep.
Making sure you're not exploding.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
And I worked at that. This was right after COVID. So there was a lot of companies would do all sorts of stuff. They'd lay off people because they didn't, turn as high of a profit. And I ended up getting laid off by my job. I just saved them $500,000 or some ridiculous amount recovering equipment and doing all sorts of stuff on them. And then they're like, hey, you wrote our entire knowledge base on how to do your position and how to do everything. Because I was very thorough. This is where I learned a very important lesson. And anybody in chat, who is around and listening, make sure to keep this one in the side of your head. But to almost every single business, you are a number. And if that number isn't turning a profit, or if that number isn't valuable, they cut it, right? You cut everything.
Yep.
So you can recover $500,000 worth of equipment. You can be on time every day, go out of your way to do other people's jobs and do everything. But at the end of the day, if they just they're like, nope, see ya. That's when I learned the lesson of man, this is rough because
Yeah.
I was very much an uptight, duty is the most important thing, to be honest.
You have to be able to survive.
Try to sleep, or if it was too close to 9 a.m., I would just shower and then I'd go back to work. And there'd be days there'd be weeks where I'd only get a couple days of sleep. But
That's
I
insane.
really liked playing the game, and I really wanted to stream. So what ended up happening is when my job fired me, I was like, well, I already stream for 8 hours or whatever a day. I'm going to just put all of my effort into streaming. And I have slowly cut into my saving because this whole time I was working full time, I was saving up in the background. So I had this big savings account where I'm like, I have this that I've saved all on my own, and I'm going to try to do some sort of content creation and just, see what I can do. And in the meantime, it's been able to sustain me to the point of being able to focus more on that. I've started doing a couple like contracting positions and stuff on the side because VR, like the viewership and the views you get from making VR content is just not as big as flat screen at all.
Right.
And it's it's a lot less diluted of a market because there's less people to compete with. And I use compete lightly. Like if you're always treat the other people that are content creators as like friends, like you want their channel to grow so that your channel grows.
Absolutely.
For flat screen, it's a lot different because there's like hundreds of, if not thousands of people that are all sitting at, all trying for it to work, right? So it's a lot harder for flat screen, but just like be genuine and whatnot. But I wanted VR to grow overall, which is the point of a lot of my content. So the tutorials are meant to, help players who are getting into Pop 1, meant to get them more interested or keep them playing the game, right? Give them a little bit of an advantage against the people that have thousands of hours. Me playing games and just checking them out. Like, should you go play this game? Like, doing a little bit of research because people were throwing out the term lag switch a lot in the Pop 1 channels. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is stupid. Like, I've played competitive for a long time, and I didn't know what a lag switch is. I know what all this stuff is. And I was like, okay, I need some. I go about my like explaining stuff very methodically, which ends up throwing me under the bus. If someone's trolling me, I can't see that. Like it's some form of like autism where it just goes straight over my head, and I just see past that like social interaction. Like 100%. Right. But I end up getting trapped in these people who are just telling me like, this mechanic in Pop 1 is stupid. And then I'm like, here's all of the research that like explains why you're wrong. And they're like, and I'm like, and I would just go crazy spending hours and hours responding to these people. So make sure you spend your time in good places. I've tried to get better at that, but I'm still really bad at it. I went off on a tangent again. I keep doing that. Damn.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
What was I saying before that?
We're here to have a conversation. You were talking about treating other content creators as equals because as their base grows, so does your base grow.
Right. So I was having a conversation about lag switches. And when I searched up lag switches, there was not a single video explaining what it was or anything about it. And I was like, how? This has been around for like forever. Why hasn't anybody made a video on this? So I actually made a video that was just like, what is a lag switch? How does it work? And I I didn't have everything perfect because I didn't research absolutely everything perfectly, but I have the general gist for people to understand. Mm-hmm. But content creation, like if you can find those instances, like that's one of my most watched videos. And it's something that is away from my VR content. Like it's not supposed to be a VR video. It's not my normal content. It's just like people are curious about this thing and no one's helping. My tutorials on Pop 1, it's like video about a thing that, people want to know how it works. How to set up VTubing stuff or stream stuff. It's just like, people want to do this stuff. And in general, I guess I focus on content creation because I just want to help people. Like the world's complicated and I just want to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more understandable or manageable. So,
well, and
that's a long rant.
And good to you for doing that because I think we should all not only just be entertaining or provide entertainment, but when you can be informative and entertaining, that's a whole nother level of quality that you're not necessarily going to get if you're just watching someone play a video game, right? You're going beyond, hey, here's how I play this game and how I play it well.
I wish I was more entertaining. I wish I would crap talk people more and do stuff because it's like you get a lot more views when you do that, and it's just like it's better overall. I like the entertainment. I need to get better at the entertainment. I've been trying. Right. I'll work on it a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Any of you guys need a rival?
It's a work in progress.
Right. It's always here. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Yeah, and that's where we're at, I think. If anybody has any questions, we're going on about an hour now, and we want to honor Sumatchi's time, of course, and make sure that...
I got nothing going on, so
okay.
Whatever you got for me, I'll be chilling. I tossed around the idea of playing a little bit of Ghost of Tabor tonight, or maybe some more Pop. We'll see what's going on. I just got
Yeah.
back from vacation this past weekend, so I'm trying to get
Nice.
back in the mindset of working
Doing
like
stuff.
hard on stuff and going hard rather than just
Sure.
like
Yeah.
relax too much.
Yeah, back in the groove.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ghost of Tobor is not a game. Like, I've tried playing that game. I just can't get into it. I feel like it's so clunky. The
Yeah.
controls, how you walk, how do you load a gun. It's all. I'm sure the
Yeah.
more, if I played it more, I'd get used to it.
I played it on when it came out, like for alpha originally. It was just so buggy. Like my stuff would fall through the floor. And that's when I got into the conspiracy theories of like, well, it's a looter shooter where like you're supposed to build up your base and stuff. But if half of your stuff is falling through the floor,
Wait a minute. Harbinger just said, cheers to the goat. Cheers to the goat. Yeah, absolutely.
The goat.
Well, no, I also got to say, too, that I honestly appreciate what you do for the community, not just as a content creator out increases, that's a benefit to all of us. So don't be, one of my magic phrases is don't be a bag of dicks. And I think that's just, you know, we have to remember that there are people behind these avatars. So I appreciate that you do that. I mean, I think that's, you know, you could just go about your merry way. Like I watched a video, oh, when was that? It was last year where somebody was talking about another player cheating and you actually took the time to go through the video and review it and say, yeah, and say, no, actually, if they were cheating, they would be hitting all these shots. And you can hear what somebody is. So that's why they aimed over there. And those are things you didn't have to do. You could have just, you know, got on and done some streaming and gone about your merry way.
I think I got to the point with that specific video because of how, like, I have, like, hard limits on how much I can, like, pass stuff off as, like, being okay. Like, they're talking crap. And then when I see stuff that's, like, legitimately, like, targeting someone, like, horribly, I'm like, okay, like, I'm going to step in and I'm going to, like, I hate sitting by and, like, watching that stuff happen, so I'll always step in those cases.
Yeah,
I felt like that
you.
one went a little bit too far, so I felt like I needed to get involved for that one.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you on that. I got to hit the applause button for that. Oh, and I think we do have a question. I don't know if you're seeing those or not. So D-Rob. Wait a minute, let's see. D-Rob says when Sumatchi takes on content creators who lose themselves with their audience, the behind-scene work it takes and the role you inadvertently take on. What is Sumachi's take on content creators who lose themselves with their audiences? The behind-the-scenes work it takes and the role you inadvertently take
themselves?
Yeah, I guess what they're saying is there's the behind-the-scenes work it takes and the role you inadvertently take on when you set out to be a creator, I guess compared to when you lose yourself with your audience. If I'm understanding that right. And D-Rob, if I'm not, please pipe in with to clarify that.
Yeah, I think a clarification on that question might help me a lot. A lot of people they set up specific personas for their character or for themselves on stream, right? Is Vape actually an a-hole? Or is he that way because that's the stream, that's the entertainment, right?
Right.
That's a question. That like is a legitimate like is that the persona? And like I met Vape in person when I went to Vegas, and I feel like he's not always an a-hole.
Right.
Horrible. Don't clip that. Don't send it to them. Like he doesn't want people to know that, right? But he seems. I've had a lot of people like, oh, you're not the person that you are on screen, or like this is all fake. Whatever. You're a content creator. But like this is me. Like this is always me. Like I'm not this persona. I'm sure people have realized. Like I don't hyper react to something. I don't like have this weird like he's always going to be this way or that way. It's just like, oh, how's my mood that day? It's just me. Like I don't try to be anything more than myself on stream, and that's kind of reassuring to a lot of people because they come to the stream to just hang out and just to, like because of that. And the audience that Vape will attract, if he's an a-hole and he's that sort of persona, is going to be different than mine. He's not going to take away from my viewership, right? Like those people will watch. They'll either be watching Pop for the gameplay, or if they're like, they want to like, be a rowdy kid and like they get super hyped up by Vape talking smack, then like they're going to watch Vape. And if they like my like chill hangout stuff, they're going to like hang out around me. And even if we're streaming at the same time, like people, I don't feel like we like take from each other's viewers. And this is where I go back to the like always try to support all of the other creators because you're not ever really taking viewers away. If the viewers would rather watch them or like have like a, they find their content really cool, that's awesome. And like overall, if they bring more people into the game, more people will watch you. Like overall, like there's always going to be like a growth of the community as a whole.
Sure.
People can get lost in their personas where they take it a little bit over the top. And I feel like a lot of people, they'll either have like fine lines where they'll draw, and people will have instances where they need to go and apologize for something, which is also like a clickbait, right? It's all like a circular thing. It's like, oh, are you an a-hole? Okay, well, people are going to spam post that, right? There's so many posts of like vape or whoever, right? It's not just vape. It's like all sorts of people. But they're like, oh, he's an a-hole. Everybody look at this clip of him being an a-hole.
Right.
Donald Trump was the same way, right?
Yeah,
look at all this, right? But he's getting free press the whole time.
Yep.
Right?
Any
like,
publicity
any
is good
press
publicity.
And if later you make an apology post where they're like, oh, he's better now. Oh, look, his content is better now. But like,
right now I like
the
him.
generation, right? You need the hype. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So if that was like the question that you're asking, hopefully that helped. But if they reworded it, maybe I might be able to give a better one.
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes to show too.
One.
Yeah, I think it kind of also goes to show too that you could have the same idea as somebody else, but just inadvertently your personality and how you approach something is going to be totally different than how another person's going to approach the same idea.
People will like harass people. Oh, you just took their same idea, whatever. Like, oh, I'm coming out. You have to kind of follow where people are for video creation. Like content creation is a huge beast. It's crazy how deep it goes into algorithmic stuff, statistics and algorithms. Like people are like, oh, what type of content? But it comes down to like who's watching what, which video will get views, how should my thumbnail be positioned? Like I'm sure you've experienced some of this for just everything.
Yeah.
But the algorithm in general is a monster to beat, and there's ways to break the algorithm. Like I have this is my main account that I do everything publicly on, but I have like 5 different accounts that I do stuff on, and some of them are like way bigger than this one. Like
really
crazy amounts bigger than this one.
Really
crazy amounts bigger than this one. In a month I was able to grow one to like 3 times as big as this channel. And it comes down to abusing these statistics. And like after I did that, I was like, this is like people judge that as success. And like obviously people that do it as a living like need to be able to make a living. But my content, like even after doing that, this is my main channel because I want my like genuine content and like me to be the stuff that people watch or like appreciate.
Right, yeah.
So it gets into a funny line of like, well, how good are your morals? Like, how many things are you willing to bend a little bit to
get the sugar?
I remember Mikkel VR, who plays a lot of Veil. Mikkel VR, who makes a lot of, I don't know if he makes a ton of content anymore, but he plays Veil on Cobra Cartel right now. Or no, Cobra. The Veil teams glitch out. He can like glitch out around like ramps. This is before they fixed it.
Yeah.
I was like so bothered by him coming up with this thing because it wasn't true. Like that's not what hacking is. Like, and I go into an explanation of here's the definition of right. This is like my autism, me being crazy. But I was like, here's the definition of hacking, and like I would list out this is what hacking is. You're using that term incorrectly. This is like a unintended like glitch or whatever, right? And I get into this huge thing, but that video like there's ways to abuse the algorithm to crazy amounts if you're willing to like bend to the truth, bend morals a little bit. Right. I met Mikkel in or Michael VR. I guess people call him Mikkel VR because that's how it's spelled, but he prefers Michael. So Michael VR. But I met him at the Veil tournament. It was like the penthouse like suite afterwards. After the tournament, they held this like huge party.
Nice.
And at this party, he's like, "All right, Sumatchi, like, do you want to push me into the pool?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Well, like,
no, this is where a video is set up. I see it now."
But he's like, so like, right? There's a bunch of like pop. You could like just shove me into the pool. It'd be like snap. It'd be huge. It'd be huge. Like, that's hilarious. But like, I want to like keep my like, being respectful and whatnot, like that image to people. So I want to keep that. But there's this person on the other team who I'm sure would like love doing that, and like it was one of the teams that they beat. So like he just like shoved him in, and like that, that's a really funny video. I have that one on my phone still. It's great.
Nice,
But like
nice.
people, content creation is weird because you'll meet people that abuse the crap out of the algorithm, and then you'll meet people that like are just chilling and like they just want to do stuff. And then you meet people like there's all sorts of different stuff, and there's ways
Right.
to fudge everything. It's
Right.
a huge beast. When I realized that like views and stuff were way more about fudging the algorithm than content, I was like, this is what I want to do for sure.
Well, I guess we know who we're going to be consulting after this episode's over with, Tethered. Guess we're gonna have to put Sumatchi on the payroll now. Anybody else have any questions? I do have, and I've totally enjoyed our conversation. At 9:30 tonight is the beginning of the Gen X League season, and I'm playing tonight with my man Nichols and
Heck yeah.
Dime and Mac, who's on my team. That's going to be quite an interesting. It's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I got.
Now, is that a new league?
Yeah, older to meet that, that time range. Basically 40 and older. But I was telling Worrisome today, I don't know if Worrisome's still watching or not, but it's like everybody shows up on time. There's no argument in between the games. It's like, oh man, you really got me there. And the other cool thing that they're doing is that
Come back, defibrillator.
oh, am I here? Am I here?
Oh, welcome back. Yeah,
Okay,
welcome
all right.
back. Welcome back.
All right. And then the other cool part about it is it's like they have weighted the team, so the sweaty people are with the less sweatier people. So you're also meeting people that you might not have normally played with. So they have organized the teams themselves. So that's kind of cool.
I think Pop One, all of the balancing, all of the matchmaking stuff could be solved if they just stopped letting people 3-stack. Because matchmaking in Pop One works. The issue is that all of the highly skilled players are already in parties of 3, so it can't split them up. So it ends up putting, if someone's solo queuing, it'll put the brand new player on their team because they have the highest chance of winning with that player, but they're against a 3-stack, right? The issue isn't that matchmaking doesn't work. It's that like all of the good players are in a squad. But it's the weird argument of, would you split up the friends from playing together? Or
Show and accepting the invite. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry if I ranted too long. I tend to go off on tangents.
No, you're totally fine. And we'd love to have you
Love
back
that.
too.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, always down to chat and rant more. I used to hold a podcast with Starwind every once in a while, Popcast,
Oh, nice.
and we'd do the same thing. We'd hop into VR chat and we'd have like a Veil dev on, or we'd have like whoever, Pop One people, whoever, and we'll just like chat. So I really like this sort of thing. I'm sure Starwind would love to be on too. If you guys haven't asked Starwind, I'm sure he'd love to come hang out for a
Yeah,
day.
I've admired some of the stuff that Starwind
On the
has
list.
done. Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
Very cool person. Very
Yeah.
creative and very good with all the VTubing stuff as well.
Yeah, very cool. All right, well, do we have anything else, or we send everybody off? We good to go?
I think we're good. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Once again, thank you, Sumatchi. I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties, everybody. I will not zoom into anybody's seat ever again, the best that I can. I'll lower my refresh rate.
Oh, there we
Anyway.
go. Now I'm broken. Now I've done it. Now
He's
I'm broken.
broken. All right. All right, I'm going to send us out with some songs and some applause. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you so much. You
everyone.
so
Yeah,
much for
thanks.
being here. You guys rock.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Where's it broken? Good old VR issues, eh?